Listen to this podcast right now! Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my god.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me,
Yes.
Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following
is a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
It's a Journey into Comics.
It's a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Network.
production. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Adulting Ain't Easy, live from LaffyCon. Having some feedback issues, but it's fine. I am joined, as always, by my lovely wife, Liz.
I know, now it's wife, it's not girlfriend.
It is no.
Anymore. It is wife.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, last time we recorded this, we weren't married.
Yeah.
Was it like November? Was the last episode we recorded?
It was November because we didn't want to do anything the month of our wedding.
Are we having some technical difficulties?
No.
All right. We are actually joined by some special guests here, kind of going down the line. We have Dick from Podcastrophe. How are you doing today, Dick?
I am doing great.
And then moving down the line, we also have Tyler McLaughlin. How are you doing, Tyler?
Doing good.
And you have some special guests with you.
Yeah, my wife Skylar and my daughter Ruby are up here with us.
Hello. Say hi.
Hi. Welcome. So we didn't really have a specific talking points we wanted to cover today. I don't know if Liz had any thoughts about what she'd like to discuss, because everyone on here, obviously besides Ruby, is married, so that's exciting. So I
they're
guess
adulting harder than we are.
they are adulting harder than we are because everyone except us has kids, and that's totally okay with us.
Do you guys plan on having kids?
Oh yeah, just not at this moment,
We've
not this junction.
We've got 4 fur babies. Well, one has wings. We just got a bird. So.
We did get a bird. That's
so
it's exciting.
Yeah.
we have a zoo, but we don't have any children right now. So we have a different kind of zoo than you
I was going to
guys
say,
probably
if you had
have.
children, you would have a zoo as well. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if this has been talked on, but I guess starting with Dick. Dick, what's your story? Your adulting story?
Oh, my adulting story. Where do we begin?
First figure out that you were an adult? No, I'm just kidding.
When I turned 25 and I got my discount on car insurance.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice. I felt like a big kid. I was like, I'm a real boy now.
Right, and you own a house. You got a family.
I own a house. I have a family. Like, on paper, have a family as of October 13th. And then, I got married, and then I bought a house, all in the same month. It was crazy.
That's a crazy month.
It was.
It also gave you a podcast studio.
Yes, it did. Like an official, I don't have to worry about my roommate's studio.
Right, definitely.
Which has been nice. It's been real nice.
And Tyler, I feel like we've touched on this before, but what is because you've kind of done a bunch of different things. So what's your adulting story?
When did you first feel like an adult?
I had a really difficult and tumultuous childhood, so I matured very quickly, had to, take a big part into raising my siblings. So I've kind of had that old man mentality for a long time.
I actually didn't know you... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I actually didn't know you had any siblings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 2 half-sisters.
Nice.
Okay.
I love the old man mentality. I feel like I'm already in that mentality. It's like I see... Like when we're at the movies with the teenagers, and I'm just like, youths, and they just talk. Especially in horror movies. I don't know what it is about horror movies that just teenagers just love to sit there and just talk.
I feel like I'm a little bit easier. I'm a little bit of an easier going version of Red Foreman. So that's kind of what I most identify as.
I had the old man mentality when I was younger, and then things changed for me, and that's when I decided, okay, it's party mode time. I'm gonna enjoy my life now, experience things, and so like I'm slowly getting back to the old dad mode.
It's not always the right way to be. I mean,
No,
Yeah, it's true.
as much as I like to shake my fist and yell, "Get off my lawn!"
see,
That's
real.
my favorite thing to do now
Right.
that I have a lawn. It's like, ooh. Like we saw kids, I don't know, it was like in the summer, we saw some kids like running through our backyard. I'm like,
What are these
what?
kids?
I'm like, what are they doing? We just
Go
did all
on,
this
get.
stuff. Get out of here. Like, come on.
Watch out for the dog poop. Get out of
Yeah,
our yard.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I'm
Get
like,
off
good
my
luck.
lawn.
Don't step in dog poop.
Go on, boy, get him.
Get out of here with your stick and your wheel.
Stick in your. What year is this? I don't know. Yeah, I know we've. I still had a chance to see your place. I finally saw Tyler's place
Yeah.
yesterday, so
Yeah,
that was
it's
always
fancy.
nice.
Thank you.
Getting to see the family boat. I hope to have you guys up in my neck of the woods at some point. I know it was
Yeah.
a bit of a challenge, but I know Tyler and I talked about that. But it's nice to get you up there. I still want to see your place at some point.
Oh, definitely. Like, we're still trying to work out some kind of like podcasting day like we did almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, a lot has happened. Since
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be nice.
And Blaine and I have talked about it. It obviously doesn't necessarily need to be here. I mean, Blaine and I are more than willing to drive up and be that happy medium, so you and Nate and the family don't always have to cruise down here.
Right. So we'll
Yeah.
always alternate.
But it's always fun because we get to be adults traveling because we don't get to do that often. We're mostly traveling like with my family or with his family, and so it's nice to like just be the two of us.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Just go.
So we-
We always have all the interesting hotel experiences
Right.
because we go for cheap. It doesn't usually
That-
work out.
Thank you, Lafayette Days Inn, right? That
Yeah.
Oh, you
that
guys
was-
stayed here last night?
Yeah, we did.
stayed
Awesome,
here last
awesome.
night.
That was a whole mess of a thing. I definitely don't use like an Expedia type server. Just go direct to the hotel. I don't care how much it saves you. That
Well,
was
you could tell that story.
a
Your
hassle
fun
and a half.
story.
Yeah. So when we decided to come down here and like we're getting just everything accommodated, I went to what I thought was like the hotel site, and I was like, it was the first one that popped up on Google. I'm like, all right. So I went through it, got my tickets, and then I was like, it didn't work, and I was like, well, all right. And then I found out that, oh, you got charged for that room, and it didn't reserve anything for you. And I was like, awesome. So I had to call and deal with overseas customer service, and that was so much fun. And I've done
Fantastic.
customer service, so I'm a nice person to a point, but I was just like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Like, I don't have tickets, I'm out money, and what are you gonna do?
Well, and
like,
then you said you booked again, and then they're like, you actually called the hotel, and you're like, oh, by the way, you have 3 rooms reserved.
I was like,
and he's like,
I
how'd
went
that
from-
happen?
I was like, I went from no rooms, so then I booked a room separately that I was going to try and cancel this one. It's like, no, you have 3 now. I was like, all right, so something messed up. So then I was like, okay, so I canceled the one I made. Now I just have the one room. And then it's like, and then I got to call you. It's like, oh, you sent us an email saying you canceled. Like, I emailed you before I called you on the phone. You just chose to not acknowledge my phone conversation with you. So then I ended up on like a call on like a Monday while I was at work on a job site for like a half hour being like, all right, I'm not going to, either I need tickets or I need my money back.
You
I'm
need
not
a
going
room.
to. What?
Tickets. Yeah,
My
no.
room, either my room or my money back, and they've got all worked out. They just they refunded me, rebooked my room, and we were able to have it last night. But I was like, I'm never going through this again. It's a nightmare.
It's just like, I don't know. I hate being the complainer, the customer service. Like, that's like my true fear is just sitting like on a call forever and ever and ever. It's the worst thing about being an adult.
Oh, I play for blood.
Yeah, I remember you shared your story about how your Xfinity issue.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah,
the worst.
I've been a Comcast customer for almost a decade, and you know I was tired of paying $200 a month for cable, so I called to cancel my service, and I was prepared for the runaround of, well, let's see what we can do to keep you a customer, and the most that Comcast could do for me was lower my bill $3,
Ooh,
and they
$3.
could not understand why that wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's. Well, it's we're giving you some money off. It's like $3 is not even worth my phone call. To
No.
you.
Yeah.
I have been on the phone for over an hour. An hour of my time is worth more than $3.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
$20, maybe we can talk. But
Maybe.
Maybe.
I feel like if you're not going at least into the double digits, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the second person that I talked to, it actually, tensions kind of went down. It was actually a good conversation. we went through some stuff, and he said, well, you've been a customer for almost 10 years. Explain to me why you're wanting to. You don't have to explain to me, but if you don't mind just taking a minute, kind of make me understand why you are wanting to leave our service. And I was like, look, it's not even as much about the money, but it is, I pay $200 a month for this amount of stuff. That $200, I'm not getting the value that I'm paying for.
Right.
And that's not acceptable. And, like the old man mentality that I have the kind of perspective that if you've had a customer for a really long time, you can do a lot of stuff to get a new subscriber base, but why would you not try and maintain the customer base that you have?
Right.
Absolutely.
They'll always give the best deal to those new customers to lock in. Because I just had the issue. I originally had just internet, and I had internet and basic cable because it was a slightly better deal. And then it's it went up, and I was like, "Can you do anything about it?" It's well, for $30 more, we can get you 100 extra channels. I'm like, you're offering the same deal you're offering me now to a first-time customer for half that. Mm-hmm. Could you not give me somewhere in the middle? I shouldn't be paying $100 for 8 channels of internet.
And as the conversation continued, I said the last person that I talked to was under the understanding that I basically wanted you to give everything to me for free. I'm a realist. I don't want anything for free. I gotta pay for it, but don't try and don't be a thief. Don't try and steal my money.
Right.
Right. So I canceled it.
Oh, you crossed your effective date, right? So now you're.
What's that?
Have you already crossed your effective ending dates? Now you're completely.
Yeah. So when the reason I had to speak to more than one person, the first time I called, I got through all the runaround, and then I said, okay, when does my contract expire? Because they said, well, if you want to cancel today, you have to pay an early termination fee. And I said, okay, what's the fee? $20. And normally I would be like, take that $20 and shove it. But I just paused and I thought, why would I give them any more money than I have to?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, when does my contract expire? April the 5th. I said, okay, I want my service canceled on April the 5th. Then I don't owe you anything. My contract has expired. Well, you can only do that 7 to 10 days out, and this was in the middle of March. So I waited until...
Get on your calendar, you're just like,
I
today's
waited,
the day.
I waited until exactly 7 days from April the 5th, and then I called them back. So...
Oh, I would have been livid.
Oh, I was mad. I was hot.
I wouldn't even have waited. I'd been like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm giving you so much notice.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been mad.
But
although I wouldn't have complained to them because sometimes I get really nervous. I can't do that to new people, but I would have complained to him.
Oh, yeah.
I'd been livid for no reason.
Skylar heard it for sure. I mean, because she was sitting in the other room, and she might as well have been sitting right next to me because I am not very friendly. If I've worked in customer service, so I understand what those people have to go through. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
But if you are being... Ruby got a balloon.
Oh, it's so cute.
Awesome.
It matches your shirt.
But if you're being combative and argumentative with someone that is just trying to get to the bottom of whatever they're trying to figure out, that's unacceptable. Mm-hmm. So if you're not going to give me the respect, I'm not going to give you the respect. Sorry.
That makes sense.
Right.
Oh.
And did you get internet through a different provider? Or?
Yeah, so I contacted Metronet, and they gave me an incredible deal for basically 2 years, and then I signed up for YouTube TV.
How do you like that? I feel like a lot of people are going that way.
Awesome.
It's still pretty good price, right?
It's $40 a month, and it's $40 a month, and I get everything that I regularly watched except MTV. That's the only thing that we don't have.
Okay. And
You're okay,
While he
then.
watches.
What?
You're okay then.
Yeah, but we like Jersey Shore. That's our one guilty pleasure, is making fun of the
awesome.
Guido crew.
Yeah,
But no, I've
Do you
been.
have your own little T-shirt time? And
Yes,
Gym
we used
laundry?
to GTL. But no, originally I was going to go with YouTube or Hulu with live TV, and then I did a little bit of research and I figured out that I get Hulu for free because I pay for Spotify Premium.
Okay.
So the Hulu exclusive stuff I get for free, and then I pay for YouTube TV, and I've been really, really happy with it.
That might be something to consider for us.
Yeah, because mine just jacked up $20, and I don't know when my contract actually ends. I think it's pretty soon because I've had it for about 2 years now. So I'm probably at the end of that promotional period, and they're just going to jack it up and be like, "Bye, this has been fun."
I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I used to be really like brand or service loyal to things, but if you're not getting the benefit, why wait? Why continue to waste the money? You know?
Absolutely.
And if they're gonna, if their customer service is gonna give you the runaround and just be rude and combative, like why stay?
Absolutely.
When there's plenty of other places that train their employees to, be a
Dick, do you
little
have
nicer.
cable?
Do I have cable? Absolutely not.
You just have the internet and then streaming?
Yeah, we do Apple TV, so I rent movies through that. I can rent movies through my smart TV, Netflix, HBO, Hulu. We had this awesome Black Friday deal for Hulu for 99 cents, I think. I think it was like 99 cents a month for like a year.
Wow.
99 cents a month?
Yeah, it's just regular Hulu.
That's
But
still awesome.
Yeah.
$12 a year.
We got to watch The Act for 6 weeks, so that was nice.
Nice.
Very good.
Is that show any good? I don't know. That's a horror story for
It's
me.
interesting. It's
An
really
adulting
interesting because
horror story.
we watched The Act. I'm pretty sure that it's done. It ended this last Wednesday, and then we watched the HBO documentary, "Mommy Dearest" and "Mommy Dead" or something like that. And like the similarities, like the way they acted and said certain things, were just spot on because they have like the actual police station recordings from when they took them in and all that, and like that was just dead on.
That sounds awesome.
That is adulting gone
Yes,
wrong,
yes.
for sure.
I was pretty adamant that I wasn't going to watch that show, and I walked into the other room and she was watching it, and I sat down
Watch
for
it.
like 30 seconds, and I was instantly hooked.
You're like, oh, no.
So we watched it.
See, like I can't. I'm like I really do want to watch it, but I really want to watch the documentary first because I followed that story like from the second I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just haven't gotten my act
See,
together since we
I
went on
think-
HBO. What a shock!
Right.
I think you should watch the show and then watch the documentary because then the documentary you see the real thing and then you see, whoa, they did that really well.
Right. It really makes you want to get HBO. Like, and like how we even fell into the trap of when during what day was that when they dropped the Twilight Zone on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
We're like, we're not gonna get CBS All Access. And it's like, oh, they dropped an episode of the Twilight Zone. And I watched it. I'm like, damn, I really don't want to get CBS All Access, but I really want to watch the rest
I
of
know,
the Twilight
it was so
Zone.
good. It was so good.
Yeah, but so yeah, cable is definitely a big adulting problem, and I feel like as we've seen that's come out a lot recently, it's like everyone wants their own streaming service. So it's interesting to get to the point where it's going to be, well, I have 20 streaming services and I pay $200 a month now for it plus my internet, but then cable's just going to keep, there's just going to be no cable channels, and they'll be like, actually we have a new thing called cable, so I'll lump all of this into one thing again. I'm like, oh, that sounds better.
Well, and Nate and I talked about it a little bit on JIC a couple weeks ago. With the Disney Plus streaming service coming out in November, the cable and dish companies are going to have to do something to maintain their subscriber base because what incentive do you have to stay?
Right.
I pay for HBO now, so I don't need cable to get HBO.
Right.
You know, YouTube TV is giving me everything that I want except one thing, and I really don't need that one thing.
Right.
So, I mean, what is the incentive? They're going to have to do something, otherwise it's going to go to the wayside.
Right. The same reason, like when it's not to do the same thing like the magazines, the newspapers. When those things started faltering, they started making deals to get new customers and keeping their customer base. It's rather instead of keeping your same price but then losing like half your client base, drop it and maintain like 80%.
Because all their customer base, I mean, I look at it as an investment. They've invested into their customer base. If you cut the price in half, you are still turning a profit.
Right.
You're just not turning $1 billion a year profit.
Right.
So,
sorry.
Ruby, you're such a cute mini.
Minnie.
That's funny. But yeah, they have to understand that like it's not the way it was when cable was the only option. Everyone had it. It's just you have to adjust to because our generation are really just dropping off of it like flies, just because there's why I can get 90% of what I want somewhere else for half the price. I'm going to do that.
Keyword, what you want.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Because us millennials, we want what we want, and I don't.
Well,
I'm
and
not
like-
going to pay for something.
We don't
I
need
want.
filler.
Right. Well, and one of the reasons that I praise YouTube TV so much is the commercials aren't that often.
Right.
And when a commercial comes up, it tells me exactly how many commercials there's going to be and for exactly how long they're going to run.
The 2 out of 3 commercials for 30 seconds.
Yep. And
What?
and most of the time they're not even 30 seconds. They might be 10 to 15 seconds long. So
Yeah, the only ones I really hate from that is when you get the ones where it's the same. Every commercial break is the same like 3 commercials, and I'm like, I get it, but especially during it was like the last election cycle. I could be getting the same political ad every commercial break. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't even want to watch the show anymore because I don't want to see this commercial. I just want to like turn it off and come away and come back when it's over.
But if you remember back to cable TV, we got the same OxyClean commercial back to back all day long. So
that is true.
Billy
Man.
Mays.
Billy Mays.
He's the best.
or ShamWow.
Yeah.
So I have the CW app, so I can watch Flash and Arrow
Yeah.
and all those shows
Yeah,
at
I
my
do that
leisure. And so it has commercials, as you know, and sometimes it screws up, and you get the same commercial 3 times in a row before you get back to your regular scheduled programming.
Right.
And so sometimes it'll be like just a product ad. Other times it'll be another CW show. So like, I think it was like iPhone 10 or something. I just got the same iPhone 10 commercial 3 times in a row. I'm like, it looks the commercial itself is really pretty, but can we get back to my show?
Right. I still remember with the ones where they tease the CW ones. I'll get like a tease for if I'm behind, I'll get a tease for a future episode of the show I'm watching. Like, you know I'm watching episode 7. Don't tease me episode 10. What
I
are
know.
you doing? Like,
They
I
did
get
that to
it.
me.
Why are you doing this? Like, I'm caught up now, but this is not okay.
It's because they keep wanting you to watch it.
They do.
The mind control of commercials.
Time are we at? It's only been not that long.
Yeah.
Well, and it's now that we have Skylar back, who's a little preoccupied with a bowl of
Getting
snacks.
called out.
He got called out.
Called out.
Hello.
Hello. Have you been on a podcast on the network before?
No podcast. Podcast review and Journey into Comics.
Okay. Oh yeah, you were on. When you did the what movie did you guys see?
Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
So I guess while you have a child in your lap, what is your adulting story? Just kind of circle back because you had stepped away when we had talked
when
about.
did you first feel like you were an actual adult?
Thank you. Probably
Stand by.
Yeah.
Probably when we first moved out, 2015.
Yeah.
When we got our first place together.
The taking of the microphone was the best. Ruby, when did you
She
know
just
you were
wants
an
to have
adult?
it.
When you were 4?
But you're not. I was gonna say, you're not even.
You're only 2.
Yeah, you're only 2. Are you a big girl? When did you feel like a big girl? Oh, now you're shy all of a sudden. Oh.
Here, can you sit over here?
Oh.
The joys of.
She's a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
She's 2 going on 30.
Now she's just making faces at us.
Yep.
She's like, I don't want to.
Now she's just mocking us.
Yeah.
Peasants.
Yeah.
Dick, is it weird doing your podcast in front of your family, watching from the audience?
No, not at all. I'm
Yeah,
used.
because they've been in the room with you before.
I know that they'll watch it while I'm doing the show, but so I mean, I guess it is different actually seeing them directly in front of me, which is awesome.
Right.
It's awesome to have them here.
It's not like
Yes.
they're just like strongly against your podcasting.
No.
I will not let you do that. No way.
No, it's been pretty great because Miranda came in my life right around the same time I was starting this whole podcasting journey. So she's been with me since kind of my beginning. I mean, I've been doing it for a little bit as like a guest and a little bit.
You had your metal segments that you were doing.
Yeah, I did that a little bit, and then I just been guesting on JIC for like the longest time, and I guess I tried doing it in high school, unbeknownst to myself.
Your YouTube bits.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
You
But
don't want to be like
it's been
original YouTube star.
No.
Oh, but that's the best.
Oh, those are so bad. My podcasts were like me talking a little bit about something, usually current ongoings in my life, and then the rest of it was shout-outs. Shout-outs to my friends.
Aw, so cute.
But no, it's so Miranda, she came in my life right around the time I started Podcastrophe, and she's been nothing but supportive of it the entire time. And it's been great because normally, like, you get kind of like a Yoko Ono situation where a girl comes in and it takes you away from the things you are passionate about and want to do, your hobbies. But no, she's been 100% supportive since the beginning.
That's great.
I like the
And
reference, the Yoko Ono
Yeah.
reference.
Yoko Ono.
She still does stuff.
She didn't kill the
apparently.
band.
She was that band, okay?
Huh?
What?
What?
I said she was the Beatles.
She was the
Yoko
She was
Ono
the
was the
Beatles.
Beatles.
With her,
Unpopular
her
opinion.
unpopular
That's definitely not my
opinion is
opinion. I just
right.
wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was right before you bought your house when you're like, I don't know if we're going to have a live stream. I might be buying my house at that time. Or it was something you had to do. There was like a conflict of time and you're like, I might just not be podcasting. Or did Tyler, was you a solo that one? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't
feel there was, like,
remember
something
either.
you
It was the
decided
day that
to-
you were supposed to close.
Yeah.
I can't remember that. I just remember bits and pieces of that.
No, because we closed on a Wednesday. No, we closed on a Tuesday. Yeah, that's right. Weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. I think what happened was, so we decided, I was like, I'm closing that day, so I'm not going to be able to record because we're also going to move that day as well. And so I had a pre-recorded, like, we used one of our Road to Infinity War things.
Oh, that was the day we used this Doctor Strange review.
Yeah. However, after I decided that, I packed up my computer and didn't upload it.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
And I was like, oh, crap, that was smart.
Yeah, don't think about things when you're packing. Like, I need to get all this stuff in a box and then get it out of
Yeah, like here's the dumb thing. I edited it. I added like a little like monologue intro saying, "Hey, I'm moving today, so this is what you're getting instead." And I rendered it out, turned off my computer, and then packed it up. I didn't even upload it.
Sad day.
Yeah.
As an adult, that's one of the things that I loathe the most, moving.
Yes.
Packing. Ugh.
Oh, I don't pack. I just move. And I hate it.
That's what I've done
Yeah.
for like the longest time. Then Miranda came and she started packing my stuff.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that's.
I won't do his. No way.
I
don't.
I
pack other
get
people's
very
stuff.
overwhelmed by like all the little things and putting them together. So in the past, I've grocery bagged it like
Really.
because
Oh my God,
you just
that is-
accumulate Walmart bags and Payless bags and whatnot over the course of living wherever you live, and then so you just start. You have a ton of it.
You have a
That
black
would
garbage
give-
bag
that
full
would
of
give
t-shirts.
Put it all in there.
That would give me so much anxiety having grocery bags of stuff. I couldn't do it. I'd be
It was
like,
bad.
I was like, I couldn't. I don't know. Like, you can't even really write on them what it is. It's just
If you accumulate
stuff.
Amazon boxes, you're just like, why did you have all like you have just odd sizes that are all consistent? Just
Yeah.
The Amazon boxes is fine because that's what you need to move. But
Right.
like grocery bags with like, I would have a heart attack.
right. I just like my stock.
The grocery bags were more for like the miscellaneous, like loose things.
You dumped your junk drawer into it and be like, I will figure this out later.
That and yeah, and I'm like 4 houses later, I'm still figuring out a couple of those bags. So,
The bag's just
but at the same time, you realize how much you didn't need that stuff.
Yeah.
So then you can
That's
just
the
be like,
best part
you
of
can just pitch
moving.
it, which I still need to do a lot of pitching.
This is
Yeah,
what
that
we
was-
found too, because we went through our redoing our office, or we've been trying to do it for a while.
Yeah.
But life gets in the way, and we've like looked at these boxes. We're like, we still haven't unpacked these things.
Right. It's like I had like all the stuff I had like my knickknacks, like my stuff I had like in my apartment that I was like, this will go good on like an office shelf. We haven't redone the office, so there's no shelves to exist. So it's just boxes I haven't opened. And like, do I really need this stuff? I haven't acknowledged its existence for over almost a year. now.
We've lived in this house since November 20th. I just unboxed all of my pop vinyl collection and put them on my desk.
There you go.
So
Yeah, I
that's
think mine are still all
finally
except for-
starting to decorate.
Yeah.
There's a few. The newer ones are out. The other
Yeah,
stuff is
I have my
somewhere
Bob
else.
Ross, my Mr. Rogers, and then Austin Power. The newer ones I've gotten since we had are on
The
display.
Austin Power ones are the best. I will tell you.
Dr.
I'm
Evil
a
and Austin
huge
Powers.
I've only
Austin
had-
Powers fan.
I've only gotten 2 pop vinyls since I moved into this house, and it was Gizmo from Gremlins. I saw it at the LaffyCon,
Gizmo?
the LaffyCon before Christmas. It was right over here at this one of these booths right here, and I was staring at it. I was like, I went to show Nate. I'm like, Nate, check this out. It's so cool, like Gizmo, and
like
it
Gizmo.
wasn't there. Turns out my wife bought it for me.
Oh,
And-
I didn't tell you.
And gave it to me for
sweet.
Christmas. So I had that, and then I also got Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So completely different.
Very
I have an entire room that was going to be my Star Wars / nerd room when we moved into the house. We moved into the house in 2017, and I still have not unpacked that room.
Oh no.
So,
All your stuff still boxed up in there.
oh yeah,
All your favorite things.
it looks like a tornado went through it.
It happens. I feel like there's so much stuff I've been wanting to do, but I get pulled into so many different things. She's,
Yes, Ruby.
Storming the stage.
Hello.
this is the ultimate
Talking.
adulting.
Yeah.
Is a child on the podcast.
I love it. Oh my gosh. The little.
Oh my gosh.
And that's all she wanted to do. That's so
Now she's
cute.
content.
Oh.
That's the way. Liz is.
Be still my heart. I love little kids.
And now she's gonna leave again.
Children, so fickle.
I love it though.
They're our future
They are our future.
And our past.
and our past.
Go, 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 Ruby, go.
I gotta feel like it's gonna be interesting being a parent and giving. I feel like being.
We're not.
I'm very distracted now, but I don't know. Like, Tyler, you've had obviously been involved with Ruby since she was an infant, so you've been there. But Dick,
could say he's been
Kinda
involved.
came in since you've been involved. I didn't mean it like that. I was just trying to do a comparison that, like, Dick, you kind of this is more new to you. You didn't get the building of the evolution of the kid.
No, I didn't.
evolution.
I did not.
Evolution.
I didn't get to
Aging.
program those kids.
Right.
They're pre-
No, they came to me pre-programmed. And
But is it a weird feeling going from these are my girlfriend's then wife's children to like these are like my kids now? Like I am responsible
well, I
for their
think
well-being.
by the time I got to the point of like we were married, like they were basically my own.
Right.
But coming in, like it's so weird trying to not ask what the boundaries are, but figure out what the boundaries are for yourself. Because like I've always kind of had like a parenting mentality because I did it. I was 6 years older than my oldest brother, so like I parented my brothers just
Right.
naturally. My mom would get so pissed off about it. She'd be like, "I'm the parent." I'll be like, "What are you doing about it then?" That was always my response. Like, "Well, you're not doing anything."
Right, it's
Which
gonna
my
be-
mom. I don't want to dog on my mom. My mom's awesome. Mom did great with us, but like that was just me. Like I was the person to like step up and be like, "What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this?"
Right. I definitely don't have that.
Like you better stop.
Yeah, and so like going into myself being a parent, it's definitely been interesting figuring out myself as a real parent.
Right. Your parenting style. And
Yeah.
Because did it come pretty quick after you were in that situation, or was it like a lot of figuring out where like? Because it's got to be weird, like at least when you first started to like discipline kids that aren't technically yours. Like when you're still dating,
Yeah,
like if the
yeah.
kid was acting out, like can I yell at the kid for
I know
messing off, or-
it's the weirdest thing. It feels so weird, and so I'd have to just look at Miranda and be like,
Are you gonna do
"Can
something?
I do? Can I do this? Or what are you gonna do?" Yeah, it was odd, but
Did you ever?
I remember the first time I got to use my thunderous dad voice.
Can we get a sampling of that?
No,
I mean, they're right
I
there.
don't
You
want
might
to do
forget.
that. I don't want to do that. No,
Come
it'll be too
on.
loud in the microphone. No, because it's an emotion.
Children will
It's an
turn
emotion
around and be
thing.
like, "Oh."
It's an emotional in the moment thing.
Right. Tyler, do you have a dad voice?
If I did it, Ruby would cry right now. So I don't want to do that.
Okay.
So we got harsh dad voice.
At least she would cry. Like they're
Skylar
immune
would
to
probably
it now.
cry too.
They've built an immunity to it, so it doesn't even work.
They haven't heard my dad voice. And cries. She sobs. Nope, not doing it.
Yes, yeah, daddy, do it.
Yeah. No. That's. Did you ever see yourself like when you were younger as like if you saw yourself now when you were younger, do you think it would be a whole different experience of like you're in this position now in your life? I never really thought I would see myself there. Was that always kind of your trajectory in your head?
Absolutely total opposite.
Really?
I think I remember you said you wanted to be a military guy, right?
My plan was to get as far away from this place as I possibly could. I'm still
You're
here.
Still here.
What about you?
Myself, opposite of Tyler. As I said earlier, I was more of an adult towards the beginning of my adolescence than I am now. So coming out of high school, like I always wanted that. I want to fall in love, get married, and have a kid. Like
Right.
Like that was my goal. That's what I tried to do. early on. Like, it wasn't until I think I was almost 22 when all that fell apart and I had to start over. And by start over, I mean I had to figure out how to be an idiot college kid.
Right.
Which I wasn't even in college at that point, but like I needed to figure out how to be just a kid, and experience the things that I should be doing at the age of 21, 22.
Right, because you jumped ahead
early,
and then so you kind of had to
I immediately tried to become family man, like right out of high school.
And it doesn't always work that way.
No, I grew up in an order that shouldn't have been.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but it got you to where you
It
are
did.
now.
It absolutely did. So
Makes you happy.
I have no complaints.
Yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Well, not even one letter.
Not even a letter.
Liz, we already asked what your first adult, like when you realized you were an adult? Did we talk
so
about that?
many.
I feel like we've
don't
talked about it
know.
before, but I guess while we're here.
I don't know.
Was it when you moved out for the first time?
No.
Went off to college?
Not really. I think it was when I had to start making my own appointments because I hate talking to people.
Oh,
I hate it.
I hate it too.
I can't. Like, it
still
makes
have me do
me
it.
so nervous. Like, I had to make a doctor's appointment. Like, I just had to call the doctor and, like, ask them if they'd fill out this form for one of my summer jobs. And it was like, I could not get the words out. I'm like, that thing, like, can you get the doctor to sign this thing? And they're like, what thing are you talking about? I'm like, this release form, I don't know. And then it was just like, I feel like I make a complete fool of myself on the phone. Like, I don't know how to function. And I'm a teacher, believe it or not. I mean, like, I have to talk to parents all the time. I probably sound crazy when I'm on the phone with these parents trying to get certain things out. Like, I can't. It's so bad. If I could have Andrew do it, I would, but that'd be really unfortunate.
Right, because you don't have, well, actually, you don't have the parenting voice, but you have your teacher voice is pretty.
I don't really know. I've had to recently because it's the end of the year and it's like I have like a group of I have the two opposite sides of middle school. I have 5th graders and then I have 8th graders. But it's like the 5th graders now are like getting into squirrely mode and I've had to use my teacher voice and I've never really had to yell at a kid, really. I don't know. I just don't feel like it works, at least in a school setting.
And from what you've told me, definitely being a teacher now, I feel like the kids are a lot crazier than we were kids.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of things that we would have never said to an adult that they can say just like the wind, like, whatever, that's going to happen.
Right.
Like, I've been called every name in the book by a kid, and if I would have ever done that to one of my teachers, my parents would have tanned my hide. But
I was that
it's a different
kid.
Time. You were that kid.
I was that kid.
Oh man, we would have had a lot of problems if I were your teacher.
You underestimate my power.
I feel like, at least when I was a kid, like, I would get in trouble at school, then I would get in like twice as much trouble at home.
Yeah. I always had this understanding of how, like, what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to, and I just didn't do the things I wasn't supposed to do.
Right.
Exactly.
I did whatever I wanted.
Yeah, I remember getting like.
That's the life. I wish I could have been that kid.
It wasn't great. It's pretty awful.
I just remember getting a detention in 2nd grade and being more upset. Not about the detention, but the fact that when my parents found out about the detention, I was like, it's not going to go well.
Don't understand that either, having detentions when you're that small. You're still learning.
It was an accident. I accidentally hit a kid in the face. That's exactly what happened, and I got a detention for that.
The only thing I really did wrong was I started letting my grades slip, and then I never brought them back.
It happens.
It's all downhill from here, folks.
In fact, in 8th grade, I got straight Fs just to prove you can't fail the 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And they still pushed
Oh
you
yeah,
on?
they pushed me on.
Yeah, that's
My
the
teachers
thing.
hated me, yet they loathed me, yet loved me because they knew I was capable of doing it. Because my tests were amazing, but I just didn't do any homework.
Oh, so you just wouldn't do the work, but then like the test came, you're like, you got an A on the test.
You got to take notes. Why? I'm taking notes. I'm listening to you.
So
I'm
it's like-
actively listening to you.
It's like like you said, all these zeros, but then your tests are like 80s and 90s
Yeah.
and 100s, and you're just like,
Yeah, and like teachers just didn't understand. Like, why aren't you applying yourself? Why aren't you taking notes? Like I just said, why aren't you taking notes? Because I'm actually listening to you
I'm
and
looking
retaining
at you. We're
it.
making contact. I
I'm
don't have to write
retaining
it.
this information. I don't need to take notes. Then college happened, and I needed to take notes.
Yeah, that switch when it's like,
You're
college,
from a class of
it's
20
so easy
to a
to-
class of 175. Yeah, no.
High school getting A's is easy. In college, it's a lot more difficult.
Dang near impossible.
I was like, I see why you wanted me to apply myself. I see. You were laying some groundwork
Yes.
that I did not understand.
I can't use my usual tricks to
but
succeed
you can't
here.
tell an 8th grader that, like, oh,
No.
I'm going to make you take notes because
No.
you're going to have to eventually.
When you're a teenager, you know everything, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're invincible, and your back doesn't hurt, and your joints don't ache.
Yeah.
You don't have a good knee and a
You can
bad
do
knee
parkour,
anymore.
It's fine. You can't do parkour when you're 20
No,
something.
you
No?
can't.
Not successfully,
Not
anyway.
successfully. At least not a normal average Joe.
It's like when you're in middle school and high school, and you can just you ride your bike. You're not touching the handlebars. You're fine. You try to do that now, you're gonna just break every bone in your body.
And the bike.
In the
And the
bike.
bike.
And the bike.
I just go downhill. I'd just be just leaning back, and I was just I know how to weave and all that. Try to do that now. I haven't ridden a bike in a very long time either.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
But how do I do this again? It's always like riding a bike. No, it's not really.
Not anymore.
I had this spiel that I would give teachers every year when I walked into class and they would assign homework. And I would just tell them day one that I'm not going to do it because anything that happens after the time the last bell rings, that's my time. It's not their time.
It's a very valid
But
point.
what's the mentality you have now?
What?
I feel like it's the mentality you have now when it applies to work.
It is. I mean, I'm devoted to whatever happens between this time frame. Anything that happens before that or after that, you have no control over that. That's my time. Time's the most important resource.
It's true.
It's the only truly finite resource that you have.
What is the
It's mine.
no amount of money? What was the line from the movie?
No amount of money can ever buy a second of time.
That is true.
It's true.
What time are we at here? Are we at?
I love that we have your child running around the
there's-
stage.
I love it,
She's doing a
though.
circuit.
But it-
And that is adulting.
Parkour.
It's the
That is the
greatest.
chaos
And
of
being able to
adulting.
keep everything going smoothly while
Yeah.
this is happening in the background.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I love it though. And
It's just chaos.
It takes just this one little thing to make her happy and not crying and screaming. It's perfect. Gosh, I hope I'm that lucky.
I like how
I don't
he's-
know. Some of the kids I see, going through the elementary school and stuff, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, what am I getting myself? What would I get myself into?
Yeah. I long for the days when all it took was a balloon to keep me occupied for
And
hours.
running. And running.
And running.
When it's you just found an inanimate object and that was the best thing for.
I know. Ugh.
What so baffles me when I see kids that are under 10 with a cell phone. I'm like, who do you need to call?
It's all for games. Come on now.
I was given 50 cents and a payphone to call home when I needed to leave somewhere.
Yep.
I like that you brought up I miss the days where only a balloon could hold my attention. Now it's I'm bored. We'll do something. I don't know what to do. Watch a movie. I don't know what movie to watch. Watch a show. I don't know what show to watch.
You have so many options. And
Yeah,
you're
yeah. It's
too tired to
watch a video on YouTube. I don't know which one.
Yeah, it's we were laying on our couch in the living room. It's we should watch a movie. It's what we should watch. Literally, there's 500 physical movies plus Hulu, Netflix. All
Yeah.
And then it's we can't even decide them. We just give
Well, a
up.
lot of that, part of it is trying to decide, okay, what particular thing is worth this next hour of my time.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I want to read a book? Do I want to go work out or be active in some way? Do I want to actively engage? I don't know.
And that's our
it's
our
weird.
after work routine is just we get home, we make dinner, we take the dog out occasionally or go to the gym, or we're okay, we can watch an episode of Game of Thrones. We can maybe watch a movie. We could do one of these things, and then that's it for the day. And then the day is over, and we gotta get ready for the next one.
My routine, and if I'm off my routine, oh, you better watch out. Poor kids the next day. It's
Right.
Miss Sturba, you look really grumpy. Yeah, because I was out too late because my friends want to go to trivia, and now I'm all upset because I didn't get my 10 hours of sleep, and now you get to suffer.
I get my 6, and I'm it's fine. I'll manage today.
No, if I
It's
get
fine.
anything
I'm
under
fine.
than 8, it doesn't happen. I'm actually like a child still. It's really sad.
Liz, whenever we get to the point where we have kids, Liz is going to be in the worst straits for all of that.
Pod Daddy has made his appearance.
Oh man.
I
Another-
realized I've never been on this show before.
You have not. Now you have.
Well, and we were
But at the-
thinking. I'm oh, but Nate's been on all these shows. Maybe we should give him a break. No,
Yeah.
I
he's
appreciate-
itching.
You came in right at the end there. So,
I had my break. I had my fun. It's cool. I'm back. I'm
all right.
revitalized.
So Nate, what's your adulting? When was your first thought? I am an adult now. What is?
Oh man. Honestly, I think it was when I had my first apartment. Like the very first, the water bill's on me, the power bill is also, it's on me.
Right.
Everything is up to me now. And
Right, and even if you have roommates, someone has to be the responsible one to make sure, all right, here's our bills, you have to give me the third of it or the fourth of it or whatever.
And I mean, you were in my first apartment. You
I knew, I was
actually were in the building I'm speaking of. So
Yeah.
we did have roommates, and it was crazy, the experience of hey man, I'm gonna need the 200 bones that you owe me for everything that you're doing here. That's it,
That's so weird.
And being
Yeah.
that
So
heavy,
it's so
being like-
awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's hard.
And it's awkward. You're like, we're friends, but I'm not going to cover this all. You need to give me.
Do you know what's more awkward about it? When I was doing that, when I had roommates like that, 2008, PayPal wasn't a thing.
No.
I had to get money, actual physical
Physical money or
and that made it
checks
even
and go
more.
to the bank and-
Yeah, or like you said, a check, which made it even more
That's how I did it when I lived at the Doom Room with Nick. I'd be like, "Here's my rent.
Here's my rent
PayPal.
check."
Oh hey, not then for the longest time. I never had cash, so going to a Doom Room show, such as over at North End Pub, I'd be like, PayPal $5 to Nick.
I'm
And
here
then,
now.
then the door guy would be like, $5. I'm like, I already paid Nick.
Sorry,
Show
guy.
your PayPal receipt.
There.
Yeah.
PayPal. It's been a wonderful tool.
It's really weird that PayPal is that thing where it can show you. It's almost like it's like the social media. It's you can see what your friends on PayPal are giving. I'm like, this is a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's gave money to person for weird emoji, and I'm like, I don't.
Well, that's like Venmo. That's
Venmo.
I almost do the same thing now with my wife. We Apple Pay each other for bills
Right.
and stuff.
That's a good idea.
So
I
instead of
wish
having
I
a
would've
joint,
thought
instead of
that.
having a joint account where everything goes in,
Right.
I just shoot money over to her for she pays the mortgage and.
You know what that default does too? It keeps you guys slightly more protected from fraud.
Yeah.
Because say somebody were to get your one singular bank account,
Right.
your money is now entangled.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you're screwed.
That's-
So
that's-
it does keep a little bit of a buffer there. If something were to happen to your account, you've got to back up and vice
Right.
versa.
That's kind of what Liz and I do. Is that a lot of it comes out of my account, and then Liz gives me money, and then there's some bills that Liz takes care of, and then I take care of, and it all evens
What
out.
bills do I take care of?
The phones
Oh yeah, but I
and
auto-pay.
in the bed. The phones in the bed.
Yeah, I had the better credit, so I got to buy the bed.
I like how that was.
It's
the
okay, I have
decision.
the washer
had
dryer.
better credit, so I had to make that
It's
decision.
okay. I have the washer dryer. It's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys a genuine question on your own show here.
Sure.
What's
Right.
the best piece of adulting advice that you have received from your parents?
Wow. That's
That is a
That's
hard
also
one.
scary.
Because I think there are, parents handle things different way, and it's funny you guys are parents, so you know that you are always thinking, how can I make their situation better and easier than what I had? It's
Well,
the first thing you want to do.
For me, it's not necessarily easier. It's how can I teach her to do this the right way?
There you go.
Because the right way isn't always the easy way. And I had to figure everything out on my own. So I didn't have any advice. It was go figure it out. And if you can't, don't ask me. Do it yourself.
Right.
That's
So-
hardcore.
Yeah.
So you really were thrown out there. And I mean,
And-
we've had that discussion obviously on Voice of Survival.
Right.
I know deeper what you're saying by that story, but that's crazy. What about you, Dick? Did your parents give you any parting
Not
words?
really, no. I pretty much raised myself.
Fly, baby bear, fly.
They were there, but
Okay.
I just did my own thing. My grandparents mostly raised me, but I was just one of those people that just raised myself. I learned things on my own. Just did it.
Nice.
I don't know, man. That's really deep. My parents are so engrossed in my life.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
totally.
I'm still run to mommy for a lot of stuff.
We're
I
gonna
feel
see him today.
Yeah. It's what's for dinner? It's Sunday night. Let's go have dinner.
Right. That's something we do. And I think it's beneficial in both ways. We get to see them. They get to see you. It just. I think at least for me is that my parents always just taught me responsibility. And then my dad, when I got the house and stuff, his big advice was, my dad's always been a Mr. Fix-It. He's always just done things himself. And he told me when we were remodeling and stuff, it's it doesn't hurt to do it yourself because you can't break it really more than it already is broken. If you can manage to fix it, then hey, you saved yourself some money without having to hire someone else to do it. And if you break it more, you're still going to have to call that person anyway, and it's not going to cost that much more.
Right.
Because that's how I was able to manage electrical and plumbing stuff and stuff that I wouldn't have done myself. Like, that's a little outside my pay grade, but it's just you learn how to do it, and then you're fine now.
I think for me is just like be respectful and be thankful for what you got, because there's a lot of people that don't have respect, and there's a lot of people that don't have what you have, and that's probably the biggest thing that I have to remind myself.
Yeah, I think another thing too is that I feel like we all live in a generation where the older generation, the baby boomers, point and say that we're to blame for X, Y, Z, when really we're trying to come out of all these problems they created for us to wade through.
Right.
So with you saying, be grateful for what you have, like anytime my dad's like, hey, I'll help out and do this, or, something broke on the truck, let me hook it up or whatever, which is not often.
Right.
I'm like, man, like, thank you. Like, I can't even believe that. But I know there are also people who expect it. They're waiting for the help. They almost demand it,
Right, and I've always been afraid that I'm always asking for more. Like, I'm always like, or I'm expecting something. Like, I'm always like, I am internally grateful. Like, there's anything I ask of another person, it's always not expecting it. Just like, I could use this help, that would be great. And it's and I always feel guilty for doing it, but it's just like, everyone needs help sometimes.
Well, and your parents too, especially. Like, if you have a good rapport with them, a lot of times it's going to be like, look, you're going to maybe financially help me with X, Y, or Z now, but down the road, I'm going to be helping you when, like, life is giving you the finger and you're going through the worst things in your life. So it's all balanced in different ways. They can help you now while they're good, sure. If you can help them later when they're not good, I mean, that's the greatest thing.
Yeah, it's always like, and it's like when you're the responsible, or like the person that's with the better head on their shoulders of the children. You're like, I'm probably going to be the one to, when you guys get old, I'm going to be the one to like help take care of all of the little things.
Yeah,
especially if you're the more local one too.
That I was just going to say that, like, as of right now, if something were to happen to my dad, it's kind of on my sister because I don't live there. Not to say I wouldn't drive home, like I would, absolutely, no question, but it just, in default, if something were to be an emergency, she's got a 2-hour window before I can be anywhere near.
Right.
So.
Well, it's like, that's like my dad and my grandma live in the same town. My grandma's other children are all across the U.S. Like, my dad's the guy. Like, I remember getting like, I was like, hey, can you go run over there just to make sure everything's okay? I haven't heard from her today. And I was like, well, I can do that when I was living at home. But like, you're the person. Like, you're the responsible just because you're there.
Absolutely. And that also falls on your parents' shoulders and how they raised you. Are you going to be able to take the responsibility of stepping up when things get really more hard than as people, I think, were expected to handle,
Right. Definitely totally agree.
This got real dark and
it was light, and we had children on at the beginning, and it's just like
I was gonna side note say you should feel grateful, man. It looks like Ruby's ran like 400 laps. She's gonna sleep like a dream.
Nope. She hasn't even tapped into her
power.
Any of her energy yet.
Uh-oh. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And to kind of sidekick off of what you guys said, mine's the total opposite. I do everything on my own, always have. I don't ask for help. If I need help, I figure it out by myself. And I almost have too much pride now to ask for help.
Right.
Just because I've had to do everything by myself. So yeah.
It feels like you're letting yourself down by like asking, like, if I can do this myself, like, why am I even trying this?
Right.
I get that.
And of course, you probably have been in situations where in the moment you were like, I can't get out of this and I'm going to have to, and you still figured it out. So you're like, well, if I could figure the mountain that I thought was the hardest thing then out, I can figure anything out for myself.
And it's the point now where I've just figured, and it's very like pessimistic to think about it that way, but life just sucks 90% of the time. So if you embrace the suck, I mean,
either know what you're expecting or pleasantly surprised by the outcome, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm prepared for the worst at all times, and if it can overcome my preparation, then it's a doozy.
I think there was a good saying. I feel like it was like Chuck Liddell or somebody. As Tito Ortiz said it, prepare for the worst and be surprised by the best. Like, if you prepare for the worst thing you can have happen to you, when the best happens, it's going to feel way better than you could expect.
I feel like that's kind of how I live my life. I'm like
pessimistic.
The pessimistic, like, this is going to be terrible. I don't know what I'm going to do. But then when it turns out really well, it's like...
Yeah, I feel like Liz and I are from Parks and Rec, the Andy and April. It's like the optimistic, just the optimistic one, but it's just kind of how we work.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone has their dynamic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what would you describe, Dix? What famous TV or movie couple would you kind of compare
man.
yourself and Miranda to?
That's tough.
Oh, that's a fun way to end this.
Oh, man. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, as much as she would like to say Jon Snow and Ygritte, but that's kind of a tragic story, so I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. You might have to give me some time on that one.
You're Tormund and Brian, aren't you? That's your relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the smile too. That's
Maybe what's that?
John and Ygritte? Was that what you were
No,
saying?
I'm trying to think. Married with Children.
Oh, Al Bundy, Alan Peggy Bundy. That's great.
Skylar and I are definitely
that
Red
tired
Kitty
dad
Foreman.
that's just like, leave me alone.
Yes, I love that. That's great.
I can see that.
Yeah.
No comment? Can I say that here? No comment? I don't know how to answer that question. There's not really a basic TV dynamic
you
that I can
have
directly pull off of. I mean,
You're your own.
Yeah,
your
trajectory. Real world, I guess. Like the end. Like that's yeah.
No mold for you.
I guess.
Nothing measures up to what you have.
I don't know if that's true. I just don't think it's been documented on television.
Yes.
if that's
Coming fall 2020.
Polly something.
No, Nate's gonna just make a show of his life.
I'm telling you, I think a show of my life would probably be a lot more boring than you expected.
Oh no.
What'd you say?
I heard.
No. Incorrect.
Not
Wrong.
the opposite.
Yeah, right.
It still doesn't work.
You bastard. No, man. TV show people, though, like, I'm not necessarily TV show people, but you guys are talking about optimism, pessimism. I think that's a good thing to bring up. I am literally in the darkest cavern saying that it's light and sunny outside. I will never accept that things are impossible to overcome, because I feel like if you fall into the trap of negativity and say, I can't do this, I'm unable, I didn't prepare myself well enough, you have literally created an expectation for failure.
Absolutely.
And if you negate that, like I do, and just say, no matter what the situation is, I'm going to roll with it and it'll be great.
Well, I feel like, at least I see like how you look like, because you always seem to find, even if you don't like something, you always seem to find something good in it.
It's true.
Because like the way you review movies or TV shows, that's how you come out of it. Like it might not be your cup of tea, you might not like the way they direct, but you always find something about it. Like, you know what, that was good. Like,
hey, there were a lot of cool moments in Aquaman. The story was awful, and there wasn't a lot of substance, but there were some cool things about Aquaman. That's great. But,
That's the most positive I've ever heard you talk about that movie.
yeah, that's about as much as you're going to get today. So, that's for
today's a good day.
Today.
Just today.
That makes me hopeful for the future.
All right. Well, I think that might do it. Hi, Dave.
I really want to just tie Nate to a chair and just force him to watch Aquaman on repeat until he likes it.
What if you could just have him watch it with a commentary track? Maybe he'll like it then. Does Jason Momoa have a commentary track of Aquaman?
Is that out yet on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'm definitely never going to see it again.
I owns it.
You owns it? I feel like you have like the fancy steelbook or something.
Yeah, I did. I get that basically anytime I have the opportunity to. They're so nice.
Damn, you can spend a lot of money on movies, and that's like 35 to 40 bucks a steelbook.
Nah, it's about 30.
Worth every penny.
It's about 30, and I only do it for specific movies.
Specific kinds of movies.
If you were a member
Yeah.
of the Disney Movie Club, you could get them for about $21.
Dang, for
And
real?
now Marvel's in that, right?
No, Disney does not own Marvel anymore. Breaking news. After they broke the
they
box
traded-
office with that movie that
They
dropped.
traded. It's like, well, Marvel's just getting spun off. It's gonna be its own thing now.
All right, man. Well, you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, both on the couch with us and in the audience. Thanks for tuning in. This was Adulting It Easy Season 2, Episode 1. Liz, take us home.
I'm not good at that. You know that more
All
than
right,
anybody.
all right.
I don't
Well,
know where we are.
all right.
I don't know things.
She doesn't know what's going on. All right.
I know nothing. Jon Snow.
Oh!
Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Nate.
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.
Skylar, Ruby, everyone out there. definitely tune in for the rest of the shows. Check us out on social media. This is going to come out next week. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
This coming
pretty
week?
soon. Yep.
Awesome. So then we'll stay tuned. There'll be more episodes every other Wednesday. Every other Wednesday opposite Foodies Watching Movies, which will also be a part of at least this coming one.
Yep.
And, check us out there. Check us on the socials. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks.